But yeah, it's more about like, I want you to, as you do, you're buying from me. You understand that it's just me and my husband and now the baby in tow, and we're not a big corporation. We don't have like, employees or anything. So, you're buying from another small business that, yes, we are thriving, but we're still just two humans trying to make the day work. And we go to bed exhausted, but it's worth it. And yeah, it's like I try to engage and actually like get to know my clients. It's not just like, oh, yeah, just ching, there's an order and I don't care. I do. I know the names and the business names of many of my clients and where they are. And I have terrible memory sometimes, but I can see your face and be like, "Oh, yes, I've seen you." But there's so many, like, I think I have like 7,000 people in my email list. It's
Oh, you need to
impossible for me.
share. Just kidding.
It's impossible. Maybe I should sell those lists. Um,
It just makes sense that way. But yeah, so you're doing something with your house, you said?
yeah. Well, we moved in June. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind since
You
then.
had a baby when?
February, right before PBX. So
That's
I
right.
missed out. Yeah, I missed
It
out.
was before.
Yeah,
Okay.
he arrived on the 5th, and so he was like literally like over 2 weeks old
Yeah.
by the
I
time PBX
remember
came.
you making plans not to come because
Yeah.
you couldn't travel that late in pregnancy anyway.
Well,
And
I
if you
mean,
had him,
that's it. We decided to see if we could have him induced so that, my husband and my mom could go to PBX without leaving me home, still pregnant, about to
I
give birth.
see. I see.
So thankfully, my doctor was very flexible about that also because I had some things that with my thyroid that they're thinking, okay, yes, we could push it. So that's good. So yeah, he was able to be here while my husband and my mom were still here. So when they left, I had to practically like push them onto the plane because they didn't want to leave, of
Of
course.
course. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, it was hard, but it was really nice how everybody welcomed David into the business in a way because he's part of it now, and people are asking me about him and all that. It was very nice to see how everybody rushed over to say congratulations to Bastien and to my mom and send me messages. So that was very sweet. But yeah, it's besides that, yeah, the house we moved in June, and so he needed to get his nursery done and stuff like that. And that was the primary thing, is just getting his room ready so he could start sleeping in his own room and not up in the living room with us because it was chaotic. We had to install a fence because we have the three dogs and him. So that had to get done. We had a little flood downstairs in the basement because the pump that brings the water from the basement to our septic tank, because we are in the boonies, it just decided to die like a month in after we moved in. So then obviously they ripped the flooring out and obviously the insurance took care of it. But, it's just dealing with all of that. Finally, that's done. And this Friday, we're getting our kitchen redone because I never ever liked the kitchen when they decided to buy the house. And now that it's done, I can finally focus on other stuff like the warehouse, because the house came with this great garage where I can work from, because before we were working
Amazing.
out of our basement and it took over the whole basement. So now we finally have a dedicated space that is aside from the house, so we can actually separate life and work a little bit. It's really nice that we have the whole unit. It's one unit.
Yeah.
Super helpful. And yeah, it's now ready for us to battle winter there.
And at
That's
the
gonna be
worst
fun.
case scenario, later on could turn into a rental.
Oh man,
You're like,
I don't
nope,
think so. No,
you make
no.
more money off props, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Speaking
yeah.
of
No,
props,
not rental.
I wanted to tell you a story of how I came across Lush props.
Mm-hmm.
I was on TikTok and I came across and currently follow this company. They're called Happy Booth, and I
Uh-huh.
think they're in Houston. I'm not sure. You know them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I came across her TikTok and I was like, where did you get these signs? They're gorgeous. And the way that they do their socials, and I mean, this is beautiful. You know, I love when I find something that catches my eye and I'm like, ooh, I would love to model something, you know, similar. But no, I said, I'm copying you, buying these props because, you know, they're gorgeous. And I'm in
Ah, thank
California. She
you.
was like, do it, you know. I went on your site and I ended up spending almost $600.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I know, in one spot. And then I think that I remember I wanted to get them on a certain date because I had like a big community event coming up. And I didn't get the email, and I emailed you and was like, I didn't get the email. And you're like, did you check your spam? And I just was like, God, I tell people that all the
Sometimes,
time, like,
yeah,
check your
sometimes it does.
spam.
I don't
But
know
did I?
why.
I didn't.
It's
And of
always like
course, I
that.
went and checked it, and you're like, but that's no problem. You sent it to me anyway. And that's what I really love too, because you were like, you know, I just make
Just
sure
in
that we're
case.
doing our job correctly. I want to, you know, make sure that you check your spam because there's something about customer service when, and I'm not saying that you did this because you included the email with just out of convenience for me, which I really appreciate. But I can't tell you how many times where I want to get help in the photo booth industry. I feel like it comes back on me. Like, oh, well, how is your setup? We need to know this. We need to know that. And I've been in the industry long enough to where I'm like, I wouldn't ask
If I
if I
hadn't
hadn't
done
tried a
that.
lot of those things, you know.
The sad truth is that there's a lot of people that don't try anything and just
It's true.
ask. So it has jaded these people, and I understand them. But
Yes, but when it comes from the vendors, that's when I'm like, "Ugh,
yeah,
you don't want to put it back on your customer. You know, it's like,
no.
oh yeah, I did make that mistake. I didn't check my spam. And
Mhm.
I remember emailing you thinking or saying that like, oh my God, I tell my customers that all the time.
All the time.
How did I
It's
not
always
think
like
about
that.
that?
It's always
And
like
then,
that.
but it didn't matter because you were like, whatever, you know, it probably went in your spam. No big deal. Here's your email.
Yeah.
And that to me is just a step above for customer service for me because then it's like in the future, you know, just make sure you check your spam, but also like we all do it. I think you
Yeah.
even said that too. You were like, we all do it.
My stuff, I have been getting emails from customers that went to my spam, so I'm just like diligently checking my spam every day.
Yeah.
But yes, it happens, and you know, I really, really, really do try to have that extra step of customer service because I know you guys are busy. I'm busy too, but it takes me 2 seconds to look something up, and they're like, "Hey,
Right.
Alicia, my box says that it was delivered, but it wasn't delivered." And unfortunately, I've seen in any industry, I've seen that they're like, "Oh, well, check with the post," you know, or like, or maybe they don't even reply. And you know, maybe I shouldn't do all those extra steps, but I want to. Like, I want to help. And even though I'm not the one physically delivering the package, it's still something important to me. So I check and then I contact the company and everything. There are many cases where I really can't do anything because I'm all the way here, but ultimately it has to go to the post to the post side to handle it. But hey, I'll open the claim for you. Do you need the props? It's going to take a while. Here's another box. And then I get my claim money back and they don't have to worry about it. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
It's very rare, but I don't like pushing it back on you guys because it doesn't take a lot more from me to help, and I try to reply to my emails quickly. And just today, oh, thank you so much for answering so fast, 5 stars, and so that it makes me feel really nice. Like, no, maybe they're not putting it on Google reviews, but they're saying it to me, and that is very important because I know I'm doing a good job. I'm trying my best, you know, even with life happening,
Yeah.
but I'm there, and I think that many people are always surprised that I'm answering messages or Instagram messages or DMs or Facebook messages. I probably shouldn't be doing that all the time. I had to put a limit to myself, and I'm like, okay, after 10 p.m., stop answering messages. But I cannot like not answer to an email, so I just schedule it for the morning after. I'm like, okay, answer it, but then it sends it in the morning because otherwise we're never gonna sleep or do anything. So
Yeah.
I had to set myself limits.
It's like you have to be able to move on from the day to be able to
Yeah.
sleep
Yeah.
to start tomorrow. There are certain things where am like, no, I'm not doing this until tomorrow morning. I'm
Yeah.
sticking my ground.
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
there's many things that I have done that, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it right now.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
sometimes I'm so exhausted that I'm like, I have to get it done now because it will just drive me nuts, you know?
yeah,
So it
yeah.
depends, but
It really does. I mean, if there's something that it seems like it's an emergency, but I'm like, it's not an emergency. We can handle that in the
yeah,
morning. I mean, can there really be a prop emergency?
I don't know.
I, you would be surprised.
I know I was gonna say, no, I did end up getting those props the day of that event, and I set them up, and they were just I wanted to set up all $600 worth of them. There was like, I think I must have, I don't know if it was 600. It was somewhere between, it was like close to 5 or close to 6,
Yeah,
one of those. But I mean,
you got a good bunch.
I had a good bunch and I just love them and everybody loved them. And I mean, everybody loves them so much that I see a lot of people copying you.
Oh, don't get me started on
I
that.
know. I love that you put on your email signature that you're the designer because you really are a
I
designer. You
am.
have a really good, keen eye for style. Getting like, especially the way that because you often see like sign props where they're very contrast with
Very.
colors, lots of brights, and you
Yeah.
do it in such a way that it's true to your brand, it's true to your style, and it's also like widely
It
available.
works with
Works
everything.
with every single event.
What I really try to do is, of course, stick to my brand, my style, and everything, but I don't want the props to take away from the photo. I want them to
Mm.
enhance your photo. So, because yes, there's a time for colorful, there's a time for crazy, but when it comes to most events, I think the props are there to enhance, to just add a little extra. You don't have to have it, but if you have it, it has to have a purpose in it. Like everything that I do, I try for it to have a purpose. I'm not just gonna make something for the sake of making something. And as you say, yeah, there's people out there copying and whatever, but they say, oh, imitation is the highest form of flattery. But I'm like, you know what?
I don't feel that.
No one ever says the second part. It's the highest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to
Mm.
greatness. And so that's the way I see it, because it's like you are not being original. And I understand that all art is influenced by something else. My stuff is influenced, of course, from many other things. I see things on Etsy. I see things at the Walmart on a T-shirt. I see a sign on a billboard, and I'm like, oh, that would make a good set, a good prop, or whatever. And I see stickers that inspire me, but I will never just copy it like that. I put my spin on it, and that is the difference. There is a book that is called Copy Like an Artist,
Mm.
because
I love
all
that.
artists do that. We have what's inspiration and what is copying. And the thing is that they even copy it wrong.
Yeah,
The one that made me laugh the most is one of my Spanish sets that this lady completely copied, like color, fonts,
I
everything.
remember.
And then it was like not even written correctly. So it's like, if you're gonna do that, at least put it in the proper Spanish.
No, I saw an ad that said, happy quinceañera or something like that in Spanish, but quinceañera was
Yeah,
not
I
spelled
can't even
correctly.
remember which one it was. I'm just like, the excuse was that I was out of stock and someone wanted it, so they asked her to make it. And I'm like, how lame of an excuse is that? It's like, also that people don't want to pay my price, so they go to these people to do it. And it's like, fine, you want that, then get that, but make it your own.
Yeah.
I don't own the phrases. You are free to use them, but when
Yeah.
they're
It's not like
verbatim,
you made up, I woke up like this.
no. And it's like, even though it's verbatim, like that's the thing. My whole Christian set was word for word the same one. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, like try a little harder. But, it happens. And I try for it to not bug me. It bugs me a lot less than it used to bug me. I have really worked on that. That is like, no, focus on your stuff, keep going. People know a knockoff when they see it. And I'm
Plus, you've
staying.
built yourself quite a community of
Yeah, and
people
that's
who,
it. That they know me. There's a lot of people that know me. They vibe with me. They reach out to me. I have become very good friends with many people, which is really nice, because I think that they're more than buying the brand, they're buying from me. And that is the thing that keeps me going. So when I see these things, yeah, I do get angry. I do get upset, but I let it go after my
Yeah.
5 minutes of anger. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. My customers know me. They are, they're loyal. They know the quality. They know that I'm there for them. And ultimately,
We
it's about
know
that.
you. I mean, that's
Sorry?
it. We know you. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're involved in PBX. You're there every year. Well, except for this last year.
Yeah.
You were there on a picture.
On my little billboard. Yeah.
But we'll give you a pass this year because you had a baby or
You know,
whatever.
can't avoid that.
But we know you. I don't
Yeah.
know very many other people that own prop. I mean, I know other companies, but I don't know the people. You're involved in
Yeah.
conversations. You're commenting on people's socials. You're liking people's socials. I see it all
Yeah.
over. Like
I'm trying to
you're
engage
you're
with the
doing
community.
what you need to do to build trust with your clients, and that's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
When that's another thing that people don't realize though is, they come in, they get this idea, I'm going to start a prop business or even a photo booth business for people who are listening that are photo boothers. And they're like, oh my gosh, my friend decided they're going to open a photo booth business. Their logo looks exactly like mine. Their name has one word difference or whatever. And it
Yeah.
happens. I've heard
It
it
does. It
so
does.
much. And it's frustrating to people, but you can't copy somebody else and
And their
then
energy.
run an authentic business.
Yeah.
Have to give it your own essence, or it's going to have that fake appeal to people
Mhm.
who are good clientele, who
Yeah.
you want to build trust with, who you want to have relationship with. Otherwise, you will consistently have issues with your clients because they're not interested in, who you are. They're interested in what they can get. I'm interested in paying you money for props because I know you. I met your husband. I see your baby online and, I'm engaging with conversation with you. And it's like, you're giving forth the effort. You've done podcast episodes. It's like, I know you. I
Yeah.
trust you.
That's what I really want. Like, they might copy everything I do, but I'd much rather be the one copied than copying someone. So
So true.
any day, I'd rather be the starter of something. Like when I did my neon set, then there were neon sets. When I started the Spanish
Oh,
set,
yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. That is what trends do. Totally fine. As long as everybody puts their own spin on it, go for it. It's free market. But yeah, it's more about like I want you to, as you do, you're buying from me. You understand that it's just me and my husband and now the baby in tow, and we're not a big corporation. We don't have like employees or anything. So you're buying from another small business that yes, we are thriving, but we're still just two humans trying to make the day work. And we go to bed exhausted, but it's worth it. And yeah, it's like I try to engage and actually like get to know my clients. It's not just like, oh, yeah, just ching, there's an order and I don't care. I do. I know the names and the business names of many of my clients and where they are. And I have terrible memory sometimes, but I can see your face and be like, oh, yes, I've seen you. But there's so many, like, I think I have like 7,000 people in my email list. It's
Oh, you need to
impossible for me.
share. Just kidding.
It's impossible. Maybe I should sell those lists. Um, no, but I mean, it's
Imagine
impossible.
Ursula's list.
Yeah, she probably has a really long
That's
list.
that's the list I want to get my hands on
Yeah. No,
for
but
sure.
it's I'm really trying to engage, like genuinely engage with
Yeah.
the community because I'm not just like, hey, how's it going? Buy my props. It's not
Yeah.
that. Like many times you've seen me on the Facebook groups, I'm answering questions completely unrelated to props because I'm in the community. I can try to help. Maybe it's something design related and I can give my 2 cents on that. I have tried to help some people create some little gifts and do some brochures for their photo booths. So I do more than just, oh, here, buy my props. Like I really try my best genuinely to help and be around. And I think it has helped put me a bit more in the spotlight for the business, and I appreciate that because I mean it. It's really, of course, this is our livelihood, and everything depends on it in a way. but it's more than just like, here, more money, more money. No, no, like I want to be part of something, and it's cliche, but it's the truth. I mean, I really like being part of it. It's so much fun talking about no matter what with the photo booths and seeing what everything that comes up at events. I'm laughing my head off sometimes.
Oh man, I've got stories. So, what inspired you to start Lush Prop Studios, and how did you transition into selling props specifically for photo booth businesses?
I started a long time ago with my ex-husband. We were wanting to have a little extra income, and he was always playing around with his camera and bringing it to parties. We were always having parties, and many times they were themed parties because I like to dress up. So I love Halloween. And eventually, at the wedding of a friend, we set it up, and it was literally a tripod and a terrible backdrop that the bride had put up, and I was like, okay. Anyway, but I saw how much fun people were having, and it was just a crappy setup, but they were having a blast. So I told him, I'm like, why don't we do this? For real, a bit on the side. And he saw it as an opportunity to get a bunch of toys for his photography stuff. Got the lights and got the whole camera array and everything. I'm sorry, I hope you don't hear my dog barking. And so we started offering it to our friends when they were throwing a party. We did many events for free like that. Eventually, my job hired us for the Christmas party, and I make this backdrop that was it was for an 80s theme. So I made a backdrop that looked like Pac-Man. I
Yeah.
literally glued down ribbon to look like the maze and little dots made out of pom-poms. It was so much fun.
Wow, that's cool.
So I was making my props out of paper, literal paper, and I brought them over. People were having a blast. I made an etch and sketch or whatever they're called, Rubik's Cube, all those things from the 80s. And I saw that they were having a lot of fun. And then eventually we did other jobs like Costco and National Bank and all these bigger companies, and they were asking for customized props. So I was making them literally with my Cricut machine and glitter paper. And when I was seeing people like look at the props and just laugh or smile, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is the thing. My husband, well, it didn't really work out, on a personal level, of course, obviously, but also that he just didn't have that drive to make the company continue. So I was just like, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need you. I can do the props on my own. So I started doing that and put them on Etsy, took them off of Etsy because Etsy is a scam. So I opened my own website, my transactional website, and I was just, putting the props that I could make up there on my listings, and it started going well. And I started selling a bit more locally. There were clients in Toronto and Vancouver, British Columbia. So it started going, and then one day I just got a crazy order of practically everything on my store. And I was like, what? Like I woke up to like a $2,000 order.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but I was like, is this a scam? Like, what is
Oh,
this?
yeah.
I was, yeah. But no. And so since I was making everything by hand, I reached out to this customer and I was like, can you give me like 2 weeks? So here I go. And I made them. And everybody was loving them because even though they're made of paper, they were literally super thick. She still has them. She showed me not that long ago. And this we're talking about like 6 years ago. So
Wow.
because I wanted, even though it's paper, you're gonna get the best paper, and
Right.
you're not gonna get a wooden stick. You're gonna get a nice plastic white owl that is made for cake making. So the ones that they put inside the cake so that
Yeah.
it doesn't fall. Well, I brought those over from the UK or something because I wanted something nice. And people were just loving it. But because of that, I ended up hurting my arm. I got
Oh.
carpal tunnel because I was doing that very repetitive
Oh, yeah.
motion and I just couldn't keep up. So I decided to just switch over to PVC and be able to do a lot more with that because with paper, it was very restrictive of what I could do. Like someone was like, oh, can you make me like a photorealistic cookie? And I'm like, with glitter paper? I doubt it. Can you make me the face of so and so? And I'm like, and even though I did make very intricate ones,
Yeah.
yeah, like also it would take me like a good hour making one prop by hand. And I certainly wasn't charging what I should have for making something by hand like that when it was like extremely intricate. But also I know that no one really would want to pay what it's actually worth because that's just how it goes. So, but then I moved over to PVC, and just being able to do that, it just made everything go so much smoother because I could create every color, every gamut, every hue of color I wanted. With paper, you're limited to like maybe 30 different shades. So that really was the best. It really brought me to where I am now.
So when you say paper, is it like the thick paper?
Yeah, it was a cardstock,
Oh yeah.
a glitter cardstock. But there's different kinds. There's the kind
Yeah.
you can get at the dollar store, or there's the kind that it's like $2,
At
$3
Michael's
per
or
sheet.
something.
Even the Michaels one that
Oh,
sheds a lot of glitter. So this one that I had didn't shed glitter.
I see.
So yeah, it's the shedless style. So you touch it and you don't get any glitter in your hands. So it's even stuff like that
Yeah.
I tried to source the best material, everything, and then I would back it with a chipboard on the back. So it was
Okay.
very rigid. It was not just one layer of paper. It really had
Okay.
2 layers and then the dowel.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
A
quite
lot of work.
something. Yes.
$2,000 worth of props in one order.
Yeah, that it was insane.
And it's funny that you say that too, because you're like, wow, that was a big order. But when you think about all the work that you did and you break it down by hour, it's like, ooh,
It was like breaking even.
it's time to raise
Yeah.
my prices.
At
Every
that
business
point,
hits that point for
yeah,
sure.
at that point I wouldn't even have dared. Like I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, price, I know that I am the most expensive in the industry, but there's an extremely good reason behind that. Not because they're PVC props means that they're the same. They're
Right.
not the same. Like some of them you literally can bend them, snap them. There's 3 millimeters, there's 5 millimeters, but it also comes down to the density of the material. Many of them are like a sponge, so they're full of holes inside, so they're brittle. So I did a lot of research about the material itself and about the printing. And so yeah, there's a lot of, whether people would want to understand it or not, there's a lot of R&D that went with it, and that
Yeah.
means time. It means sourcing materials that they'll work, because I am not going to send my props in a crappy plastic that's gonna break after one use. So yeah, of course there's that, and there's the warehouse and electricity and shipping, and because
Feeding
the
your family and making a
feeding
living.
people, yeah. Yeah, that's it, being able to pay a mortgage.
Yeah.
So when I see these people like undercutting the prices and mimicking what I'm doing, it's like, knock yourself out. If you can pay your life like that, go for it. The quality is not the same. I have literally been told so many times, someone said, Alicia, I cheated on you and I got them from someone else, but it does not
Don't want them.
compare.
Yeah.
And,
Or the ones that people make,
yeah, but in a
they
pinch,
last. They
in a
last. Yeah,
pinch,
in
it's
a
fine.
pinch, you can make your own, and they last a few events.
Mhm.
I mean, I've had your props for almost 2 years. Not that I've used them a lot because I've taken the last year as a sabbatical. I've
Mhm.
maybe had 10 events this year, just chilling.
Yeah.
But they've been in use quite a bit over the last few years. Yeah, they get spilled on drinks, whatever. You wipe them right off.
They throw them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that when you're doing paper onto cardboard or whatever it is that you're making.
But even the
And
PVC.
they get bent, and you can see them in the pictures, and they have weird shadows on them. I had some handmade signs way before Lush Props was a thing, or even any prop store. I don't even think that it existed back then. And I had like the not cardstock, it's like the poster board, the thick
Yeah.
poster board.
Yeah. Man.
Hey, they worked in that
Yeah.
time,
Yeah. It's like this has evolved, it's
It really has. And I think that it's because of those old time photo booths that made their own props. We're like, and so for us that made our own props back in 2012, 13, and 14, we have no problem throwing money down
well,
because we
it's also because
understand what
it
it takes.
takes time.
It
Yeah.
takes time. And Time is money, and it takes it away
Yeah.
from your business. And there's always something that you can do that for your business that will bring more money in,
Mhm.
or whatever.
I
So,
I've
and
had people say that they're like, oh, I can just make my own and print it, and it's like, yes, you absolutely can. What I do is not rocket science. It is not a
right.
mystery. It's extremely easy to figure out if you want to put your mind to it. You can just go on Canva, make it. A ton of people do that. They go on Canva, they print it, they take it to Kinko's or whatever, and it totally works. The thing is that for some people, they are like, I'd rather use that 45 minutes to an hour making this. I'd rather just outsource it, have it done, and it's going to last me forever. Well, maybe not forever, but it's going to last me a very long time. And that's something that there's something for everybody. There's people that are absolutely opposed to buying the plastic props because they're like, no, I can just do it and print it at home or whatever, and that's totally fine. It's different things for different people.
Oh, for sure. But it's going to make a difference, in my opinion,
Yeah, but I mean,
in the sense of like over the long term. Do you
yeah,
want to pay $5 now for something that's going to last you a year, or do you want to pay $20 for something that's going to last 20 years, 30 years,
yeah.
Uh,
It's that a lot of people they rather just go on Amazon and buy the cardboard ones 50 times over
Mhm.
for $10 each. So it's like, all right. So, or you can just make your investment at the beginning and not have to worry about it. What I joke about is like the biggest problem about my props is that someone's probably gonna want to take it and steal it.
Yeah. And you know what? I've never had anybody take your signs.
You're
I don't,
probably like
well, yeah,
watching.
that, but I also put them in, places, but I tell my attendants, like, I tell them which ones are the most expensive props.
Yeah, they're like,
My
watch them
attendant,
like a hawk.
my attendants, meaning my kids. I haven't had
Yeah.
any other attendants. I did long, long time ago, but it's really just my kids. And so I let them know, like, if this gets stolen, I'm
You don't
coming for
get
you.
dinner.
I'm coming for you, man. So they know, but like, especially the signs, they just keep them right, within view. But
Yeah.
I've never had anybody steal them. I think because what do they need them for?
Well, some people think that it's just part of the thing of the event, and then they just, or maybe alcohol happens, which it
Well,
happens
yeah.
very often, and they're like, oh, hoo, hoo, and then they take it, walk away with it without thinking. Like maybe
Well,
they're
that
not
I understand. Yeah.
wanting to steal it, but they literally walk away with it and go to the dance floor. And I saw that time and time again when I was running my photo booth. And I
Yeah.
was like running after the people. And I'm like, can I please have my glasses? Can I please have my boa? Can I please have my sign? And, but you make it fun. Like I would
Yeah.
sometimes like even start dancing over there and just inching over and taking the glasses from them and then walking away. And I'm
Well,
like,
that's what I was
sorry.
gonna say is I've not had them steal signs. I think I might have had one person steal like one that I made
It's
many, many
usually
years ago.
glasses that
It's
people
usually
take,
the ones that
the
are like
wearables.
the
Yeah.
ones that they can wear or use again. And that's why
Yeah.
I like the signs is because they allow people to make a statement. And, I wanted to get into that too, like what the purpose is of props, because my own personal story is that I started with props. I went to my cousin's wedding. That is how I got the idea to start a photo booth business, in a very short, condensed story there. And the company that she had was a big company here in the Bay Area called Snap Fiesta. And they had props. They had cool props like old fashioned cameras and like John Lennon glasses and just really unique.
Different.
Yeah, and they looked really great in the photos. And so I based my photo booth business off of theirs. I didn't copy them per
You put your
se. I
spin.
wanted to bring my own essence into it. Like I'm a very creative person, so that's the one thing that drives me in my business is being able to use my creativity and make things my own. And when I get compliments from people on those
It feels so
details,
nice.
I know that they're complimenting my work, not somebody else's,
Mm-hmm.
So that is like an inner reward that you can't pass up.
No,
But
that's it.
I found over the last 12 years, because I tried to get rid of props over the last year, over a few events where I was like, I just want to try it without props. And my personal opinion is the no props thing can work in LA where people look gorgeous and don't need
And they
that.
don't. Yep.
They don't need to hide behind anything. That more event photography, high end stuff. And like weddings, I see that too. I think that props can add such like the statement where it's like, I'm on the bride's team, or, things like that, where it's like you're showing camaraderie with a statement of a sign, maybe with some sunglasses or whatever. But then you have the people who don't feel comfortable in front of a camera at all.
Yeah.
And those people are putting, boas around their neck 4 times, glasses, and they've got the hat. And then they come out and they're comfortable enough to be like, woo,
Yeah.
and see there's value in that. Because everybody's in a different space in their life, especially when it comes to photography,
I don't think it's like people are trying to hide or they don't feel attractive enough, like people in LA. Like, I don't think that at all. I've seen some gorgeous people with the props in front of them.
Oh yeah. No.
And
I'm not saying
no,
everybody.
I know what you mean.
I was just saying, like, for the people that I've seen
It
who
makes them
maybe
feel more
are
comfortable.
skittish about getting into the photo booth, then they see the props and they're like, oh, if I can put props on, then it's fine.
I think that the whole no prop thing, it totally makes a lot of sense in many different situations, like corporate activations, high-end, high-profile weddings or events where really there's an emphasis on the actual photo, on the glam, on that. Like you are wanting to showcase beautiful dresses and guys in tuxes, like that absolutely makes sense. And I would never want to push my props on that because you gotta let the guest shine in the photo. What I think when people are saying no props and they are like up in arms against props, obviously COVID didn't help the whole situation at all. But, people are, they were snotty then, they're snotty now. Like there's germs then and there's germs now. So it's all about what you want to give as props. Like wigs, hell no. Hats, no thanks. I mean, things that are wearable, it's hard to clean, and some things are just a little bit too silly. So when I see that whole, oh no, props, that I feel like they're talking more about that, hats and wigs and, clown noses and Mickey Mouse hands. Like, yeah, like there's a place for that. And so, yeah, you don't want to have like this beautiful, gorgeous bride with Mickey Mouse hands and a clown wig. But hey, if she wants to put it on, let her.
Yeah.
But if you want to differentiate your photo booth business with you have your high end props, like I've seen some gorgeous hats that say bride on it and they're like rhinestones, and there are very, very nice high end props and they are minimal what they have. Maybe they have 5 things on that table and it looks gorgeous. So there's that, and I've seen them with maybe my wedding set on the side, and that's all they have. Like they don't have a 12-foot table covered in props. And so that it's about how you do props well. There's people that choose to have a 12-foot long prop table covered to the rim that looks like Party City's having a clearance sale. That is not, in my opinion, doing it the best way possible, because also, how much are you spending on that? How much do you have to replace? They're gonna walk away. They're gonna get damaged. They're gonna get like beer on them. Like, so do you really want to be upkeeping all that? So it's like sometimes less is more. The setups that I have seen that I love the most is one of my good clients, Stephanie Sanju from Juju Booth. She has the most beautiful setup, and it's literally like 2 rows of props.
I love them.
And she has like maybe a few more little things, and that's it. And her photos are always gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
It's really about like, yeah, you can do props, but how Coco Chanel said that before you go out of the house, remove one thing. It's like edit yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have 20 props on the table, maybe remove 5. So it's really about that. Like you're wanting to enhance that experience, and when you have a table that looks like it exploded after 5 minutes, think about all the work for your attendants, and of course, it's never gonna be nice and neat. You know that.
Yeah.
After a few minutes, they're gonna be all over the place. But would you rather put 10 props back on its place or 50? It's all about editing that and to making it look not perfect, but a little bit neater. So think about that. And also when you're thinking about other type of props like wearables, you may want to have featherless boa versus one that is like a poor plucked chicken just died in the middle of the dance floor. That is just, I feel so bad. And many places don't even let you bring stuff like that because of the mess they
Yeah.
make. So it really depends on the quality of what you end up getting. And if you get, expensive props, of course, you're going to be a little bit more, taking care of them
Yeah.
because it's an investment. And, no, you don't need them, but it's very nice to have because people have come to expect to have that at a photo booth. Unless they literally say, I want no props, I want to just have nice, beautiful glam photos, go for it, But
Yeah.
I think it's a good option to give your clients. You can always have it as an add-on. You can always say, do you want something custom for your event? And people appreciate that. And it's what really sets you apart from the other companies that bring something from Amazon and they bring something that is catered to that particular event. And it can make a whole difference.
Yeah, for sure. Love all the bride signs that come in your wedding packages. They're fun. And they look great in the glam photos too, in my opinion.
And I'm making a glam wedding, which I don't know how I didn't do that to begin with, but I already made the glam wedding that's on pre-order right now. And so it can be added onto the existing glam sets and mixed
Oh,
in.
cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. So it's obviously the signs are catered to a wedding versus the glam is just general party, whatever,
Right.
which worked perfectly fine for a wedding, but I added in my newlywed era and the bride is a vibe and things like that. So I think that the younger couples are gonna love that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it really depends on the company. What they want to offer to their guests is having an option of personalizing the events for them versus having the cookie cutter stuff, which, is totally fine and it covers all the bases. But I have many clients reach out and they want something specific for that couple. They're like, hey, can you make one that says Eric and Sylvia and the date and then they keep that. So I mean it's a very nice extra that people can offer to their clients because it's a little cute keepsake. And I've seen one client order one of my grad signs and had the back of it that was white be signed by everybody.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
then the graduate was able to keep that as a little keepsake and have it in her room. So I pretty much did the same thing when I got married with Bastien. I made our own props. Like it would have been ridiculous that I didn't have my own props with our names and the wedding theme going. His mom is German, so I had mother of the groom in German. My parents are
Uh,
Mexican, so I had my mom is Mexican, my dad is Spanish, and I had them in Spanish saying the mother of the bride and the father of the bride in Spanish. So it's like that obviously adds a little extra, which people appreciate because when I saw my mother-in-law look at that at the table in German, she just lit up and she's like, "Oh, wunderbar." Yeah. And I think ultimately that's what I love about the props because I know I'm not changing the world. I know that what I do, I am not a neurosurgeon. I am not, exploding mines in Africa. Like I know it's not anything meaningful like that. But if I can make one person smile that day, I think that's the nice thing about what I do. Like I bring a little bit of joy somehow to them. Maybe they were having a crummy day and then they laughed at the prop. And I think to me, that's a win.
yeah. And I actually disagree. I think that being involved in the photo booth industry is just like being a neurosurgeon, but in a different way. I think that being in the photo booth is the ultimate playground for anybody, no matter their age, their label, nothing. It is literally like going to recess when you're in school
Yeah.
and you
People
run
have
out
fun.
to the playground. You aren't any different than anybody else. You're just a kid who wants to play. And we rarely ever get that chance, you know? And
Yeah.
if I could even like just the thought of like when I put your props out for the first time. It was at a breast cancer awareness event. It wasn't a breast cancer awareness sign because I didn't really, know that I would be doing that at that time. But, I put them out there and the people walk up and they look at the signs. Some of them go like they're that excited, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm so using this sign,
Yeah.
the fun and excitement behind that is just as healing, in my opinion. I mean, I won't say
Yeah.
neuroscience
No,
surgeon
I mean,
really took it far, but you see what I'm saying? Like there's
yeah.
such a healing and inner healing, I think, that takes place, especially
Even if
when you
it's for
see
5 minutes.
doctors and they get in there and they're putting on weird hats and glasses and stuff, and they're at the same level as there's, employees, and it's
I
there's
put everybody
magical
at the
there.
same level for sure. Everybody
It's
gets to have
magical.
fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's I'm not saying it's like changing lives or anything, but
Yeah.
in a way, if we want to get inspirational, yeah, in a way it kind of does because I've had quite a few of my good customers reach out of the blue, and they say one of them in particular, she says, Alicia, I booked so many jobs because of the props I had from you. They chose me because I had that. And she's like, I love that. I love that I was able to offer something that the others in the area didn't have. And this lady in particular, I believe she's in Miami, but anyway, or New York, I can't remember. And so there's a Hispanic community, and so they saw the props in Spanish and it resonated with them. And they said, I want that. So they went with her, and that makes me feel really nice because it's like and she told me you changed my life that day, and I was like, okay, maybe that's a little much, but I can understand where she's coming from. Like she got booked because of that, and obviously because she had a beautiful setup and everything, but it was the thing that tipped over the edge to the customer booking, and I thought that was very nice. I'm like, okay, like in a way I'm helping enhance what you guys can offer to the clients.
Well, you just blew my mind and gave me and you just sold me your quinceanera set because I live in Napa, for heaven's sake.
There's so many Hispanic people there.
I mean, my family is Hispanic. My sister is married to a cuñado who's from Jalisco,
There you
Mexico.
go.
But no, like to bridge a gap for a white English speaking woman, to bridge the gap between me and the Hispanic community.
It helps.
Having a video, a reel of just the Spanish props, and obviously, people who look like them that they can resonate with.
Yeah.
Is
We feel represented,
and that's crazy because I have always said from day one that quinceañeras are my favorite events of all time.
They're so much fun.
If I could do only quinces, I would. I'm not kidding.
They're so over the top. I love them.
They're so over the top. The dancing, like you're expected to shake your booty.
Yeah. Yeah. And to do a change of clothes and to have a huge cake.
I know they have all of the traditions.
The moment
and the
that a girl is born in a Mexican family, that's the day they start saving for the quinceañera. Like it's insane.
Amazing.
It's insane. Like I didn't have one because in my family that was not a thing. I mean, we celebrated my 15th, but instead of having that big party of everything, I requested a computer. And in a way, I always say that thanks to that computer, I'm here. So back then, on Napster, which was this thing to download music. You remember Napster?
I remember.
Yeah, anybody that is under 25 is gonna have no idea what Napster is. But
it's
anyway,
like Spotify before.
Yeah, but you would download either a virus or a song
without subscription.
But you would get viruses.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a
sorry. Okay.
And there was a chat room in there, which a lot of people didn't know about. And I met my first boyfriend on the chat room.
Oh,
and I was like 16, and he was living in British Columbia, and then I moved to Canada, and then the rest is history. So it's like, thanks to that computer I got at my quinceañera, I'm here, Of course, things could have gone a different way, but I doubt that I would be doing what I'm doing if I hadn't moved.
Isn't that amazing when you think about those pivotal moments in your life where you're like, what if?
Yeah, and it's not even like big things. It's like tiny little things. And I'm always in awe about like how much my life would have changed if I had done or not done something. And so, yeah, thanks to that computer, I am here. And I'm a mama now. So it's,
Computers have changed our lives. I mean, I
yeah,
remember being young in the 80s. My dad was always really into technology, which I'm so grateful for because my mom was not.
you got to learn a lot about it.
Yeah, and he was like, sorry, now my eyes are watering, my makeup's going crazy. So he would bring home computers and I would go to his office and I'd go on the IBM and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember watching like technology of the future TV shows with him at night. And there was one where they were talking about how we would be able to make phone calls from our watches
I know.
and like order food and do all these things. I remember thinking at that time, like,
Like Star
that's,
Trek stuff.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
And
here we
here
are
we
with
are.
Apple Watches.
It's nuts. Like I love that. I remember like buying my first webcam so that I could chat with him, and webcams back there were so expensive, you know.
Yeah, when I got married at 18, I was very young. I'm not crying, I'm just coughing. I was a military wife at 18
Oh
and
wow.
I had 4 kids by the time I was 25.
Oh my.
I know. So my oldest I had when I was 18, got married after that, had my second son at 21, like 10 days shy of my 21st birthday, and then my twins were born when I was 24. And so we were military. I was a military wife. So we lived all over the world and we would Skype and, with the family all the time. So technology has always
Right.
been something that I've kind of always been at the forefront of because I've had to communicate,
Mhm.
as well as my dad always just bringing stuff home and just having that like love for technology in the future, like what's
Yeah.
next,
What's
and more
coming
having
up?
more of a view of like excitement about it rather than scary.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily know how I feel about AI,
I am
but
very on the fence about AI.
I know me too.
I'm not liking it. Like I can see the use of it and what photo boothers do
Yeah,
for that. I personally dislike it because I find, yeah, it's for fun. For fun, that's totally fine. And at an event, go for it. But when I find all these filters and things, they change your perspective of yourself. And I've seen that happen so much on TikTok and Instagram, and people will just not go on social without a filter. And it's like
yeah,
it makes you so much more insecure about yourself. So I'm not a fan of AI changing your features and all that. But at an event, I get it. You know, they make you look like a superhero and stuff like that. So in
yeah.
that
When we
regard,
were at
it's fun.
PBX and we did like the snap pick one where they put it into the plastic lanyard, like that's for
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, that's super fun.
I think the thing that not bothers me but scares me about AI is, in like our court system, things that are legal documents like photos or
You don't
video,
know if you can trust it anymore.
like I feel, yeah, you don't know if you can trust it anymore. I don't know if there's a way to like see if it's been doctored or not, but how can that be evidence anymore if it's
I
easily
have no idea.
manipulated?
I have no
Things
idea.
like that. I just feel like
You cannot
if you're in a
believe.
place of power, like
I would
real
be
power,
freaking out.
yeah,
Yeah. Like, I mean, I am not afraid of AI because of my job. I am not afraid of
yeah,
a machine making props like that, whatever. It's mostly like that now having my baby is like he's gonna grow up seeing all this stuff, and how can I help him differentiate what's real and what's not real? Because now you can, it's not even about what you see, it's about what you hear. So now you can
yeah,
have Frank Sinatra saying like Drake, and it's super
unbelievable.
fun if you want, but the way that that can be misused for so many things, like
Yeah,
having the president say something like gauging war with another country with the voice, and it sounds like that person, you're like, and then they can make the image match the mouth and the noise. Like that is scary because a lot of people do not see the difference from AI to real, and they instantaneously believe it. And so
yeah,
it's creating this super scary thing that you cannot trust what you see or hear or read. And that is something that, as a mom now, it scares the bejesus out of me because there's no
yeah.
precedent. There's no precedent of this in the law,
I know.
in life. So we are in like a brand new thing. AI has always been around, and when technology has started, there's always been AI. Like we just didn't call it AI. So it's nothing new. The thing is,
No, it's just not been readily, and I just
so
don't
yeah,
think that the technology behind it has been readily available to the
yeah.
public.
Now you have ChatGPT and there's people creating legal documents in it. And it's like, buddy, like that is not the way. You cannot replace an actual human
Yeah,
lawyer to do your contract. So please, yes, you can draft it there, but you need to have an actual human read it. So I hope that people respect AI because that is the thing. It's something that I was telling my husband about raising David is the first and foremost thing that I want to have him learn is respect in every single way. Respect to yourself as a person, respect to your parents, respect to your peers, respect to our dogs, so that a dog is still an animal, so you don't go and pull the tail, stuff like that.
yeah,
So respect really encompasses so many things, and that goes with technology too.
absolutely.
Having to
I mean,
respect that.
that goes with anything in your own space,
Mhm.
It's like you're not going to go buy a table and then come home and cut the legs off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
respect your money,
you want,
respect
yeah, you
all
want to
that.
respect everything as if, it's a
Yeah.
part of you because it is, you need
So when
that table to eat on.
when it comes to technology, is the same thing. It's
But
like,
it's more of a reflection of who you are,
mm,
whether you're being respectful of other things. Like my kids, when they were little, used to go slamming doors, and I'm like, not out of anger or anything. They just had no respect or idea as to why you don't go and slamming doors. Why don't you slam doors? Well, eventually those hinges are going to come
they're
off,
gonna
but,
give out.
and they're
Yeah.
going to give out and overtime, but they're 6 years old. They don't know what overtime means. They've been here for a
Two
blip.
minutes. Yeah.
So you
It's
have
hard to make
it,
them understand that, but
it, there is that,
yeah.
but having been on the tail end now for a year and 4 boys, I can say that he will just end up just being just like your husband.
Well, that's good because he's pretty chill.
That's exactly right. That's why I say this to my niece and all the younger women is it all boils down to the husband that you pick to
Yeah.
have kids with.
Yeah. And I honestly lucked out because he's such a supportive
Oh yeah, he's very supportive.
husband, partner, dad, dog dad. I sometimes think I don't deserve the guy, and I know that it sounds cliche, but
He would probably say the same about you, which is what makes you guys the perfect power couple.
we're not perfect. I am so imperfect.
No, I
But
said perfect for
he,
each other,
for
not
each
for
other,
yeah.
yes. I know for
Nobody's
each
perfect.
other, God, no, I'm so not. But he is so patient with me
Yep.
because I have my anxiety moments and I have all that, my struggles, and he's there. He's silently there, and he just gives me a hug and comforts me. And then he's like, "All right, do you want to just whine about it and let it out, or do you want help?" And that makes all the difference because many times I just want to bitch about it. I just want to get angry. I want to maybe punch a pillow. And then I let it out. And he knows to give me my space. He walks away for 5, 10 minutes. Then he comes back and he's like, "You want to talk about it?" And thankfully we don't really have arguments, but we discuss a few things in a very calm manner, and I appreciate that from him because he doesn't blow up. Uh, he's very patient with me because I do have those moments where my brain is just spiraling, especially when I go through that whole someone's copying me thing, and I just get mad and I just start spiraling. And he's like, "Allie, they cannot copy you. You are you, and that's it. Let them do their thing. It's
I
gonna
love
blow
that.
up. They're gonna go away over time because no one likes a knockoff." And I'm like, "But they're still there." And he calms me down so that without him, could I be doing this? Absolutely. Like, I don't need him, but I want him in my
I
life
love
because
that.
he supports me so much. And would I be here in this particular spot? Probably not. I would still be doing the props, but it would be so much harder. Like that he's there because I can just be like, "Hey, you know what? I gotta go do some orders and I have to create some custom props right now, and it's gonna be maybe an all-nighter." And he's like, "Don't worry about it." And he has dinner ready and the baby's taken care of. So
Amazing.
it's so nice that I can rely on him for that and I don't have to worry.
Your
And of course,
team,
I not have the whole mom guilt
of
to the
course.
roof because I should be the one being able to feed the baby and give the bottle and put him to bed and change the diaper. And I feel so guilty that I sometimes can't do that. But I know that the baby's fine. I know he's with his dad and they're both having a blast. They're probably watching Blue's Clues and having a good time. And I think that Bastien really took his role as a dad like a duck to water. So I don't have to worry. I never worry. And
So
so it
good.
lets me focus on the props and the business. So
I love
I,
that. It's
yeah.
so nice to see like a husband and wife team that works together. And, you know, my cousin, she quit her job to help her husband with he's a designer. He does a lot of logos and stuff for Nike and like really high
Nice.
end. They live in Oakland, and she quit her job to work with him. And we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, now you guys work together. And she was like, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh my God, why would you want to work with your husband? And I was like, well, if you like each other,
I mean, you only married each other.
if you like each other, then I could see that you would want to
Yeah,
work
but
together. You know, you make a good team or whatever. And she's
no,
like, yeah,
but
right. She's like, yeah, right. That's what I thought.
no, but it so happens many times that you just don't jive when it's work. It doesn't, like with my ex, it just didn't work. Like
Yeah.
he did not have the drive and the vision that I have. And that was one of the things why I decided, you know what, you do you and I do me. And we are still friends. Like he
That's
showed
good.
up at our wedding. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
the weirdest, yeah, it's the weirdest dynamic, but he's
Yeah.
friends with my husband and sometimes they download games and like everybody's like, oh my god, you guys are so modern, and it's like, no, you know what, we are adults that dealt
Yeah.
with
We're
it
adults.
appropriately. We dealt with it appropriately, simply that I didn't make the right decision when I got married then, and we're just good friends that shouldn't have got married, and that's it. So yeah, it changes everything when you have someone that you can discuss things with without getting angry, without, I mean, yes, I do get angry sometimes, but you don't name call each other, you talk normal, you lay things down. Like if I'm upset and he's like, are you upset? I'm not like, say, yes, I am
I need you to
upset.
read my mind.
Yeah, no, and I'm like, yes, I'm upset because this and this and this. Yeah,
So
and you
funny.
have to do that. And I know that it's not easy for everybody to be able to do that, but when you're married and working together, you have to. And also you have to be okay with the fact that someone is kind of going to be the boss of the other one. And I'm the boss because I created this. Bastien just got added into it and he was voluntold to work with me. So
All photo booth husbands, pay attention.
yeah, I think there's a ton of voluntold husbands out there.
There's a ton. And
Yeah,
sons.
yeah,
I had 4 of them.
and that's it. It's like either you join in because this is our life, or you go do your thing, but you have to be able to support each other. And
Yeah.
what he was doing, he was working the graveyard shift, and it was very difficult for me to take care of everything. I didn't have David yet, but it was very difficult for me to start sending all the orders out, designing things, answering emails, and all that. And so he saw how overwhelmed I was, and he's like, "That's it, I'm quitting and I'm going to be with you full time." And that was a
Oh.
huge step because, of course, it's like now everything is on my shoulders, right? So that's when my anxiety starts coming in. It's like I start freaking out when I see people undercutting the prices and this and that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my clients. And then how am I going to pay my mortgage? And I start spiraling. So he just holds me. He starts shaking me. He's like, get a hold of yourself, woman. And it makes me laugh. And I love it. And that's how he
Yeah.
snaps me out of it. So literally works. Because otherwise I just keep going. And I do feel like everything is on my shoulders. Like I keep telling him, I'm like, if I just drop dead tomorrow, like you and David have nothing because I'm the one that creates the stuff. And then I design it. And so I start just going mental. But I have to put things in place so that if that were to ever happen, which I hope it never does, he's not left with nothing. And David. So I'm like putting things on paper and getting all things sorted out. And I'm like, okay, you get this from here and you get this from that. So I know they would be fine, but it obviously puts a toll on me. And whoever is doing this full time probably can relate.
Awesome. Well, I think that that's about it for me. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with the community?
Well, I don't know how many people are gonna watch this, but
Doesn't matter.
whoever
It's going to
whoever's
be up
out there,
forever. So
Yeah, whoever's
Over a
out there,
lifetime, could be millions.
could be millions. I don't know. I just want to thank everybody that has been there throughout thick and thin, from
Yeah.
7 years ago to now, and has seen Lush grow, even though it's still two lonely people in their house. Now we have the machine that I invested in and being able to do my custom props for them faster. It's been a long journey, getting here. So I wanted to thank them for being there and continue to choose Lush for their props, because they believe in me, what I do, and they love what I do. So that's I appreciate it, because I wouldn't be here without all your guys' support, without your $600 order.
I
It
bought
really,
I bought you as a friend.
yeah, no, but it really does help. Like, I think
Worth
that,
every penny.
thank you. That's what I hope everybody understands, that yes, they are not cheap, but that's the
They're
thing.
not, but
But
you
that's the
have to
thing. They
understand,
are not cheap.
yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
But I must have bought like 6 packages or something. I had a
Yeah.
lot. I have so many props. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, it's $100 for a
so many.
package. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that is insane." And it's like,
But
yeah, but
no,
it's
it's
gonna
not. It's like
it's
six
gonna last
signs and
you.
they're double-sided. You get plenty for
They're
your,
gonna last you, because I get the best materials that I can get. Everybody's gonna love them. So that's the reason why.
yeah, they're awesome. And you're awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.